Good evening. You are watching Uncharted Case Files, episode number 11, live from Ontario, Canada, with yours truly, Ryan Stacey. I'm the Assistant Chief Investigator for MUFON Canada, the Provincial Director and Chief Investigator for the Province of Ontario, and I am the Field Investigator Trainer for Canada. I also investigate everything else paranormal. I believe they're all connected, but more specifically that there's a solid connection between shadow figures and extraterrestrial abductions. Today is Thursday, November 29th, 2018. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To date, I have officially completed 498 MUFON Canada investigations, which includes 13 in the last 7 days, and I have 4 cases in progress, which means I'm going to go over 500 by next week. So tonight I will be talking about 5 new reported cases, a new interview, and some new swag, some new gear that I got for investigating. So I haven't opened it yet, so we'll talk about it too. So if you're watching this live, please share so others can see. Most importantly, don't forget to like and follow my page. If you're watching this on another page that's been shared, if you want to comment live on the video, you need to go directly to the page. If you're watching this on the replay, please comment and like and subscribe. Okay. All right, let's get started. So I'm just gonna make sure that we're still live, because according to my desktop, we are not. But we shall see. Should be able to see my stuff. All right. Well. Okay. Well. First thing I want to do is recap. So I can't show you my desktop right now, which I normally do, because I'm currently preparing a interview from the Paranormal Night Stalker. So that had aired last Friday, which is, what's the date? Last Friday, 7/30, so 23rd, I believe. So what I'm doing is I'm prepping it for video, so we're going to launch it to the Facebook page. I will share that with you guys hopefully tomorrow. All right. Another thing that I need to announce right at the beginning is a big shout out to. There you can see my screen that way. Oh, that worked. There we go. To the Night Stalker, Paranormal Night Stalker. They have been nice enough to stream this audio file on iTunes, Spotify, their YouTube, Spreaker, a whole bunch of other platforms on a channel that they have, and hopefully that's going to get more reach. So if you're listening to this live, or sorry, not live, on the replay, which will happen on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do refer to pictures and video evidence, and it may do you a while to come to the Facebook page to see that, but I'm going to try my best to explain in detail what we're looking at tonight, so that way your audio listeners can hear. But you get the best of both worlds with the visuals. Probably sound a lot, I don't know what's better. I don't like the camera thing. But anyways, so I hope I'm still live, because I'm getting feedback on my server here that I'm not. I'll check the phone. Maybe the phone will help me. Sorry, hold on. All right, phone says I'm live, so we're perfect. All right, so I just need to see the comments, and we're good. Hello, Stephen. Oh, Stephen Brooks and Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla. And Stephen Brooks, man, I have not talked to you since, oh, Jesus, high school. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming. And hey, Priscilla, remember that story? And Steve, you can comment on this. That story that I always talk about actually, you know what? I'm just going to say the story since Steven's here. Okay, so we're totally off schedule here, but let's get into that. And Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember the story, but when we were kids, we acquired illegal access to our old high school, the old high school, St. Teresa's, and it was abandoned, and we were checking the area out because we heard that it was haunted. Do you remember this, Steve, at all? So anyways, we go down to the boiler room, and we think we're all all by ourselves and whatnot, and I remember the boiler room door had just blown open, and it kind of spooked us a little bit. And when it spooked us to a second, I remember looking down the hall, and I saw something. And I wasn't sure what it was, but before I could process it or think about it, Steven starts running, and I didn't want to be left alone inside the school. So I continued running as fast as I could after Steve, and Steve ran so fast, so fast, so fast they couldn't catch up to him. And and it was absolutely terrifying. And then when we get outside, he's huffing and puffing, and I'm huffing and puffing because we just booked it for our lives. And the first thing he says to me is, "Did you see her?" And that gave me goosebumps. I got goosebumps right now. That was my first, weird or possible paranormal experience. Yeah. So you remember this, Steve? Fudge. Almost swore. But so the strange thing about that was I didn't tell him what I saw. I saw a girl wearing polka dot, gown. And it was could have been like a hospital gown or something like that. I don't know, but I know I saw it, and then we ran, and he saw it too. So it could have been someone living there. We don't know. But anyway, sorry, totally off topic, but relevant because that's what we're here for. Yeah, that is definitely the fastest you ever ran, man. Oh my God, long time, man. Long time. I hope you're well, man. Anyways, thanks for watching. Okay, so recap. Actually, no, let's continue with the Paranormal Night Stalker. So that's why my screen's like that right now. So, yes, for you guys listening to this or viewing this right now, the Paranormal Night Stalker is going to have their own channel. Okay, so I do have a link directly to them in the description of the video, and but particularly their network. So what they're doing, hopefully this loads up here, is come on. But anyways, here's the link here. So basically what they want to do is they're going to create a network of paranormal type of, or not paranormal, all strange and unusual things. Yes, the white dress with polka dots, Steve. It could have been blood too. It was creepy. It was creepy. Right? And still, since you're reading this, I wasn't lying. I'm telling the truth, man. See, back me up. So anyways, these guys, it's not working, man. Oh, shows. Let's click that. There we go. So this episode is the first one that will be the audio will stream live here on Spreaker.com/user/Night Stalker Network. So that's for you listeners out there. Every single episode is going to be there, and that's also going to increase the SEO. When you search Ryan Stacey or you search Uncharted Case Files, hopefully it gets more of a reach. More people will be listening, more people will be reporting, so hopefully that will grow. So thank you so much, Joel and Michael from Paranormal Night Stalker, and yeah, so this is the actual interview that I downloaded the audio file for, but I'm putting it in video format for you guys. So I'm hoping to have that up tomorrow. So, okay, there we go. So that's done. So recap from the last episode. So this is episode number 11. Episode number 10. I talked about six reported cases. And I talked about Bob Lazar. That interview for Area 51 is coming out December 3rd, real soon. Huge hype about it. I can't wait to see that. That is going to be amazing. If you guys are MUFON members, I do know that MUFON is offering a 10% discount for members. So if you want, if you got the newsletter that way. And what else we got going on here? So yeah, I also talked about Freemasonry versus Illuminati. Please ignore that. Yeah, Freemason versus Illuminati. So you might want to hear my rant on that. That was last week's episode. So 2 weeks ago, and the reason why I wasn't there last week, and I apologize, is my security team, and I'll show you. We had to get ready for the Santa Claus parade. I'll show you right here. So I do apologize, but we had to strut our stuff there and then generate some business. So this is the team here. and we decorated the vehicle. This is some of the team here, so you guys can see. Get all loaded up there, help decorate the vehicle. Looks nice and snazzy. And there we are on the parade there. So that is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that I was unable to do the show last week. I do apologize. I'm sorry, but I'm back. Okay. So let's talk about. Sorry, my notes are all over the place. So this interview that's going to be uploaded, what it is about is my general how I came to be. If you guys heard any interviews before, it's the same stuff for the first 10 minutes, but then after that, I dive into a specific case in the Kitimat, British Columbia, and then we kind of just talk about the paranormal and UFO mix and the theories and so on and whatnot. So we actually got into some really good conversations, especially about this case too. We kind of investigated or debunked it live, so I do recommend listening to that when it comes out, hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, so I'm going to start with my mentionables because these are always the good stuff. So I found this on my travels. This guy here. When I talked about in previous episodes, I talked about creating a handbook called The Traveler. I already dropped the bomb earlier. Sorry for you listeners. I didn't describe my vehicle. But I'm going to describe what we're looking at. So what we're looking at here is about 35 pictures of drawings of alleged alien entities. And The Traveler, it was an idea that I was going to put to make a little pocket handbook for investigators to take out. And I saw this on the internet and snagged it. And I think that this is going to be a good idea to show people and say, hey, what did it look like? Like here's a lineup, right? So I might, use something like that. If you guys have any of you guys seen anything like this, let me know in the comments. Okay. So for you guys listening on Spreaker or iTunes or wherever, you're going to have to come to the Facebook page to see these. Sorry. Another thing, had a little had a little visit in the hospital last week. Nothing too serious. But we did notice these symbols here on the little garb. And I thought that Priscilla and I both thought that this little symbol here was interesting. And I don't know if you guys recognize that symbol at all. And I forgot to pull the page up. I'm going to pull that up right now. So Bridget is an Irish saint, and she's often associated with witchcraft and sorcery and miracles. And I just want to see, and this is her cross, Saint Bridget's cross. So if you look at this relic right here, thought this was interesting. And Priscilla and I had noticed while we were visiting someone there in the hospital that they've adopted the same symbol. So that kind of goes along on the lines of medicine being satanic and sorcery and something like that. So actually Priscilla noticed that. So props to her. She gets points for spotting out the hidden mysteries in plain sight. So good for her on that one. So yeah. So so she's known for doing some weird things there with that could be, just regular medicine stuff. But anyways, maybe I'll do an article on her later. But she's known as a Celtic witch. Okay, so let's get back to the mentionables. So another thing too that I did this week, I renewed my membership so I can continue doing this. There it is right there. All right, boom, got another year of this stuff. For you who are curious about masonry. I took this picture last week in Lodge during practice. We talked about Freemasonry before. This is where we meet. There's a lot of hidden mysteries and secrets in here. There's a Bible here. This is a Christian Bible, the Holy Bible. It's not a satanic Bible, okay? You see that? And it is not a satanic Bible, okay? So this is every year when I sit in a different officer chair, I always take a picture from the perspective of where I sit within the lodge. At the beginning, I was out here, and then I was here, and then I moved to here, and then now I'm like here where I'm sitting. And then next year I'll be sitting here, and then the year after that I'll be sitting here, and then the year after that I'll be way back here in the east. So if you guys aren't Masons, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of beautiful symbology here. But I can't share that. But this is Jacob's Ladder. So we refer to Jacob's Ladder here in Masonry, and a lot of us ufologists and the ancient astronaut theory do associate that Jacob's Ladder story to be almost similar to an alien abduction. However, that is for a later time. And yes, Lisa, you are right. She is a pagan goddess. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, another thing I picked up this week that I want to share with you guys. There's a little joke that went with this, and it says, it's cold, because I'm Canadian, right? So it's cold when your ghost freezes. So I thought this was hilarious. I thought I would share that with you, right? What else we got here? Okay, now we're going to get into the good stuff, okay? I promise. So also last episode, I had talked about another way of doing disclosure, and if this is your first time listening to this episode, I'm going to create a deck of cards, playing cards, that are going to have what I consider the best the physical evidence or documented evidence of these cases that I have personally investigated. So the purpose of this is so when you're playing cards, you're looking at the pictures and you want to know. So if you look at one of my previous videos, you'll see that. There's also a picture on my Facebook page. So what I got here is some of these cases are all unknowns. So these are the physical evidence of some of the cases that I consider to be unknown and strange. And I'm considering these images, or some of these images, or part of these images, to be featured on these cards. I haven't decided which ones yet. I still got to get permission. Lisa, I think yours are in here somewhere. It's all a mix. It's a mixed bag right now, but these are all have interesting stories. And then what I'm going to do once I select them is I'm going to put the actual case and the investigation on the Facebook page. So when you're playing the cards and you see it and you want to know more, you come to the Facebook page and you read all about these cases. And the purpose of it is to generate a discussion and so people can talk about it. Okay, so I've been working on that the last 2 weeks, and this is the most interesting thing that I want to talk about. So I'm going to close. So I want to talk about what's called the Civilian Aviation Daily Occurrence Report System, okay, also known as CADORS or CADORS. This comes from Transport Canada, pardon me. What it does, it every time there is a strange occurrence inside that has to do with any of the aircraft, it has to be reported, and then it gets documented for the public. I subscribe to this. There's a subscription for this, and I get a direct printout of the reports for the following day, or the day before, pardon me. And every time I check these readouts, it'd be like there's debris, or there's a dead bird, or there's something that stopped the flight. So everyone has to be notified, and it is a public document. But unless you subscribe to it and you're keeping track, hello, Michael. It may be irrelevant, but what I do every time the report comes in is I do a key search quickly for drone, foreign object, or unidentified. Now I always get hits for drones. When I get hits for drones, I'm like, okay, well, perfect. Is it really a drone? There's is because that could be the code word that they're using for UFOs. Foreign objects, I'm interested in. Because it's foreign, it's an object, they don't know what it is. That could be a roundabout way of saying it's a UFO. But recently, in the 2000, sorry, where is it here? Yeah, November 26th, 2018. This report, I actually saved the PDF file of this one because I don't want them to delete it and get rid of it. But this report number 40 actually says in Nunavut, no linear aviation Boeing from Iqaluit to Mary River reported an unidentified object. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is NORAD, was advised no impact to operations. So that is confirmation of an actual unidentified object. Never hit the news. No one talked about it. Victor Vigiani is aware of this because he's big on pushing the NORAD files. So I do check for these things. And this is the first time I actually seen an unidentified writ, because normally it's foreign objects. So there must have been a mistake here, or this has something to do with it, and they contacted NORAD. So that could be military though, but there is some sort of confirmation that there's something strange in the sky, and that I'm hanging on to. I do not want to get rid of that. So I have that report. I'm going to pass that off to Victor to post on and then we'll post that on the MUFON Canada page. And you guys listening for the first time, I'm really sorry if I'm butchering this. It's really hard to describe something you can't see, but I encourage you to come to the Facebook page so you can join the party. All right. So, what everyone's been waiting for. So that's interesting. And I believe that's it for the mentionables. Yeah. So now, the nitty-gritty. So, let me see here. All right, so these individual pictures here were reported. I was asked to take a look at them. These clouds appear to be strange. She claims that they're unusual, and she's not sure what they are. But if you look at these clouds, it's definitely suspicious of some sort, because they do kind of look like UFOs. I haven't had a chance to really dive into this one yet, but I'm pretty sure this is a national weather phenomenon. I mean, clouds do weird things all the time. I mean, you have to take into the weather, like not the weather, but the humidity and all the other things going on in the air, the particles, the ions, and whatnot that could cause these types of clouds. But more particularly, what I wanted to really look at, the reason why I asked her to report, is she had shared this on a page, and she had mentioned that she saw this object coming towards her at somehow. And it's an authentic photo. I still have to talk to her to get more information about it, but it's strange because it kind of looks like a disc, let's just say, coming forward. I haven't had a chance to analyze this one yet, so that's in progress. Very, very, very interesting. So yeah, Sue, I will get to you as soon as I can. I'll send you an email soon. And so thank you for reporting that. Michael, I don't know if you were on before I started talking about the lodge there, but I was, if you rewind, I showed a picture of my lodge. You might like. So the other thing that got reported this week, no, this one's still under investigation. Don't worry about that one. My bad, pardon me. All right, so these are the MUFON cases for this week. I got 5. How am I a brave man? I'll bring the picture up one more time before you leave. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up the report here for this one. And I haven't So for earlier videos, I brought this one up. This was a case that was reported in Nova Scotia, and it was reported by Chris Stiles, who is known for the Shag Harbor researcher. I have closed this case as identified because I have enough collaborating evidence to suggest that it was a star. And I sent the message to Chris, asked him for his comments because he's a reputable and credible individual and a researcher who's been doing this for a long time. And I have not got a response back, so I'm not sure if he accepts my analysis or if he hasn't got it yet. However, I just wanted to kind of highlight the work that I've done. So the video had come in, and it's a very credible report in the sense that there was video evidence. This is the original photo. And the reason why I'm reporting on an unidentified is just because it was a significant one, and a lot of people were asking me my analysis on it. So this object had stayed stationary within the sky, and believe it or not, it is possible to see stars during the day. However, there has to be no wind and low humidity. It's just there's got to be the right temperature and the right weather aspects. Pardon me, can't say it properly. It's got to be certain situations do happen. I do explain that in the report. And it is a rare phenomenon, but it is possible. So what they ended up doing is they end up zooming into the object, and it kind of has this little organic type look. And I zoomed into it and I did some enhancements myself to show different things. Now this particular object here is the star Altair. If you guys are Assassin's Creed fans, that is the assassins from Assassin's 1, Altair. And I also, not only does it look like it, when I check Stellarium, you see Altair right here, and that is the exact location, the exact time, and the exact direction of when this video was taken. So, you know, I'm being careful with what I'm saying because Chris is a very credible person. I have no answer. I haven't got a response back from him yet. I would like him to. You know, I could reevaluate this because I need to know that the evidence or the research that I've done, I need him to fact check it, right? Make sure that I'm not missing something. And yeah, so as of right now, I've closed this as identified because I'm 99.9% sure because the evidence is collaborating on that. So I'm really sorry. Debunked. The other case we got, 96552. This one is interesting, so I'm going to pull this one up. Oh, sorry, 522. Okay, so this one was reported in 1997. It was a metallic ball, and I consider this one an unknown. Normally, I would close it as insufficient data or historic. However, the testimony or the description is strange and bizarre, so let me share that with you. So what you see here on the map are 4 locations. One near Brighton, and this is where, sorry, pardon me, this is in Ontario. So Brighton, Ontario, and then it travels south towards Presqu'île Provincial Park, and then to the east towards Presqu'île Point, and then further to the east to Wellers Bay National Wildlife Area, and then down to the south towards North Beach Provincial Park. And then the witness had described each point. So point 1 at Brighton says the object descended and ascended above below treetop level. So saw it go down and then saw it go up. At point 2, which is at Presqu'île Provincial Park, The object came slowly and directly toward where we were across the bay, turning approximately 500 feet offshore and heading towards the lighthouse. At point 3, Presqu'île Point, the object traveled the shoreline at walking speed to the lighthouse, where it hovered over us at approximately 300 feet and approximately only 15 feet offshore. It hovered for about a minute above us while we sat with our backs up against the lighthouse and looking up at it. I asked my friend if he thought it was watching us, and I waved at it, at which point shot off towards Weller's Bay. It reached Weller's Bay shore with a couple of seconds. It seemed instant and was without any sound the whole time. At Weller's, so point number 4, which is at Weller's Bay, it slowed again, changed direction, heading south along the shoreline. We watched it slowly float along the shoreline until we could not see it anymore. So that was a very good piece of evidence to get from the start, because the witness had provided this for me. I didn't have to dig them out, and it was already done in such a nice way that it's credible. Now, so what we have here is the object's descending, going down, and then coming up, and then slowing towards a way to the south, and then slowing down to almost a crawl, and then zipping to the east, going super fast, and then along the shoreline. So the story enough to be bizarre. But now, when I asked for an image, can you render or draw what it is you saw? This is what took the cake. And so the description says, various colored bright lights span the midsection of the sphere. These lights remained in a horizontal plane relative to the ground. When the object was viewed overhead, the lights were around the perimeter of the orb, indicating that it did not tilt. So when you guys are looking at this visually here, you can kind of imagine that. And for you guys who are listening to this, what you're seeing here is a silver orb with multicolored lights or other orbs around it. So there's a pink shade of green, 2 shades of green, an orange in the middle, another pink, another light teal, and then another, I guess, type of green. It's really hard to describe, but essentially when this craft had gone over above them, this panel of lights were around the perimeter, so which means around the circle. So it's almost as if so what you're looking at right now, for you guys watching this, it would be like Saturn's ring or a halo, I guess, around the orb. So anyways, I thought that was very interesting. It's historic. I can't really dig into it any further, but I have no choice but to close that as an unknown, because it's bizarre. That's not a plane. It's not a helicopter. It's definitely questionable. 96555. Yes. That was another one that came in this week. So let me pull that up. So this one was described as a cigar, November 23rd. It was described as an unknown object observed in a perfectly horizontal position, passing right to left over the water. The object was cycling between visible and transparent configuration before completely disappearing for a final time. It was reported at Port Alberni, in British Columbia. So this one is one of my ones that I have in progress, and there's some video here. So I'm going to show you guys this video, which I actually think this one is really interesting, and this may be an unknown. I don't know yet, so let's see. And for you guys listening to this on iTunes and Spotify or wherever else, Spreaker, please come to my Facebook page, facebook.com/heattheworld, and you'll be able to see these. I also will be posting these on Monday and stuff like that too. So I'm going to play this one a couple times. So the object is here, goes behind that post, and then through the bushes. I don't know if there's a road there, and that might be a car. At first I thought it might have been some dirt, because some dirt goes across the screen here, but it doesn't move at the same pace as the object. So this is pretty interesting in my opinion. What do you guys think it is? I got 4 of you there. Any suggestions? Michael, what do you think this is? Lisa, Priscilla, Steven? So last one here is 96563. I'm going to pull that report up. This one was reported November 22nd, 2018, described as a sphere, big bright orb, slightly moved, then faded a bit, but then got very bright again. This was in Niagara Falls, Ontario. And I'm still investigating this one. I had a chance to analyze the photos yet. So here's the object here. Yeah, so the wire reflecting light, it could reflect light, Steve, but it's a pretty solid object. It's large. A wire is usually thin, so it might be a really thick wire. And yes, Priscilla, I'm not sure either. And Michael, the location, yeah, I have to open up the case, but I can't do that right now on this live thing. Sorry. But it's definitely a strange one. But what I'll end up doing is I'll pull a screenshot and zoom in, and then I'll pixelate it, and I might be able to report that. And if it's an unknown, I'll throw it on one of my cards. Then you can pick them up at Ace, and we'll talk about it. So here's the object here, an orb that's described as being in the sky based on the position of the object. I think this might be another star. And the sad thing about this is people don't really know how bright stars are or can be per se, especially when one's like significantly brighter than the other. You got to remember, we got Sirius, we got Alistair, we got Arcturus. There's a lot of stars that are significantly bright depending on how close they are to the Earth. And when the Earth rotates around the sun, or it's not rotates, pardon me, orbits around the sun, it gets closer and closer sometimes, right? So when you're in the moment and you see something that is bizarre, a lot of these, I'm almost positive this one's a star, but I have to do some digging. I can't confirm yet, but I will let you know for sure. It's a little bit of a slow week because those came in. There's only 5 within 2 weeks. I know this is only my first episode in 2 weeks. Normally I do this once a week, but I still got stuff for you. What else do we want to talk about here? So, well, I got you here. I'll continue to talk about what's coming up. So the probability scale, I'll show you guys that. So this is kind of something I thought of randomly while I was investigating the Kitimat case, which you'll hear when you listen to this podcast here or this radio interview once it's uploaded. Let me just scroll down here, see what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. There's a picture here. Oh yeah, did you guys like that photo? I could pick that one up too for the parade. For you guys listening, that's just the old Santa Claus being accusing the UFO for crashing his reindeer. Come on. It's really hard to scroll through when I got everything going on here. All right, the stuff you don't see post. This post here. So I posted this last week. That was me writing it hand by hand and just a bunch of scribbled notes. But what I decided to do is to branch off on that. And I made myself an actual printout. And now I use this for all my investigations. And what the system actually is, and I'm calling this a probability report. And essentially what I do is when I get a story or a sighting report or a bizarre situation, I look for pros and cons. So if I got the who, what, where, and when, those are 4 pros. If there's something that I really like that's descriptive about the witness and how they're explaining things, I write those down. Each thing that I think of that I write down that amuses me or pleases me per se, that's considered a pro. If there's something I don't like, I write it in the cons section. I don't like this because of this reason. I'll explain that, and that's considered cons. Then I have an evidence department or a section where I'll write down physical evidence, such as drawings or audio recording or whatever evidence there is. And then I'll have questions that I have, like because I need more information about what this witness is explaining to me. Then what I do is I tally it up, and I'll say like how much evidence, how much of this physical evidence that's provided can be actually be traced and validated. So if it can be traced and validated, I consider that a pro. If it can't, then I consider that a con. The questions that I have after reading through it, if I can get an honest answer, if I think I can answer these questions somehow, I'll consider that a pro. If it's impossible to answer those questions or really hard to answer those questions, I'll consider that a con. And what I'll then do after that is I'll add up all my pros and I'll divide them by the total number of points, and it'll give me a percentage. In this particular case that I have here in front of me, there was 12 points in total, and 11 of them were pros. So when I do the math, it gives me a percentage of 92. And what that does is it indicates to me that this case is probable enough to have occurred that merits me to investigate into it more further. And the reason why I created this system is because I get a lot of reports and a lot of information is missing, and it helps me unbiasedly decide which cases I need to spend more time on, because there's a lot of rabbit holes that I could dig into and then end up finding out, you know what, if the evidence isn't there from the beginning, the evidence isn't going to be there when I dig for it. And I have a lot, so I got to be careful with how much time I devote to which certain cases. So this is now a system that I'm going to be using moving forward to help triage the importance and probability of cases. On top of that, I normally do chapter meetings for the MUFON. For MUFON Canada in Simcoe County. I had talked to the group. I think we're going to do a coffee meeting sometime in December, possibly, or maybe in the new year. We'll see. So if you're listening to this in the Simcoe County area, if you join the Facebook group, I will post an event. It'll be a public meeting where we just get together and we talk. We meet each other. I can show you some stuff. Or you can share your experiences in person. That's stuff that we used to do. In the summertime, we plan to do a CE5 session or a CSETI session. The winter got here, and so I do plan on continuing that as soon as the spring comes, possibly before ACE. And speaking of ACE, for those who are listening, yes, Mike will try and reschedule after the spring. So those who are listening for ACE, the Alien Cosmic Expo, I've been told that we are moving it to October. So details are coming. The reason why it's moved to October is because there's too much going on in the summer months, such as the Alien Con and then MUFON's 50th anniversary. So we just kind of want to create an opportunity for everyone to go and see all these events, because if you have too many in one event, and they do cost some money. I think ours is the cheapest, to be honest. You know what? I have him on Facebook. I could ask Rob. He lives in London. So, Rob would probably want to come. So, pardon me, Rob, Michael asked if we could get Rob Freeman to come. So Rob Freeman is an investigator as well, and he, I forget the name of his group, pardon me, but he actually captured some orbs, some serious orbs, and I actually have a sample of that orb in the 2017 video companion for the Canadian Current Event Survey. So check that out. So that's on the docket. I'm going to do that. So as far as my playing cards scenario goes for the unknowns, I currently have 44 cases out of my 498 that I have closed as unknown. And there's currently 17 of those cases that have evidence that I'm considering I'm putting on there. So I need to get 52. So depending on how many I get within the next little bit, this might be, I'm hoping to get more evidence so I can add. Also, 5 large cases. I have actually 6 cases I have selected for my book, which is Believe. And so case 91458, 91320, 90764, 75342-72718 and 91901. So if if I called your number, you won. You're going to be highlighted in my book where I compare your evidence to paranormal and aliens, and I try to close the gap to prove that they are one and the same. If you guys are listening to this for me for the first time, you want to start back on episode 1. There's a lot to catch up on. Yeah, superstitious times is another thing that I write, an article. So it is due. It's December 1st already. I haven't wrote my second article, but that is due December 1st. So I'm going to be working on that tomorrow and probably over the weekend. Sorry, honey, I forgot about it. But yeah, or maybe I'll just recycle one of my previous things and that no one's ever seen before. Maybe I'll do that. But no, we'll see. And I got some new gear. That's what we're going to talk about. I got 10 minutes here, so let's bust this out here. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm a private investigator. I look like I'm there we go. So I'm a private investigator as well. I own and operate my own company. And I do paranormal and UFO investigations, but I like to use tools that are used in the way that they're intended. In an earlier episode, I'm gonna say 3, maybe. I don't know. I had a bug sweeping device that I demonstrated, and what I explained through that is how I'm able to pick up like a hidden camera or a spy camera or something like that. It's got a sensitivity wheel on it, and the reason why I purchased that particular item is because it's intended to pick up electromagnetic fields for strong currents, and it's sensitive. So it's not a ghost hunting tool. Like that's all a ghost hunting tool is. Like we have a K2 meter. It's good, but I mean, and it has the light and it's closed and it's good, but that's the same thing. It's an EMF meter, and I use that. So what I try to do is to use devices that I use in the job for PI work, as well as incorporate them into the real investigating thing. So I got this trail cam, okay, which is handy for catching deer, or seeing deer or whatever, trying to figure out if you're hunting. That's the original intent for it. It's camouflage. It's got a camouflage strap, but this is also handy to use in surveillance if we're trying to scope out a place. And what I want to use it for within paranormal is, it's an infrared camera, right? So it's something we can hit. It's got a motion sensor. Instead of buying those cheap, why is this? Sorry, I just realized that it's something's moving in here. I want to make sure it's not broken. Now we're good. So it's a USB cord. So anyways, it's just a tiny little thing. And what I'm going to end up doing is just have it set up. So if there's ever a specific case where they say that there's shadow or apparitions, and they can't catch it, so we would set this up in the hall, and hopefully something would trigger it. Now, if you're a paranormal investigator or a UFO investigator, or any investigator, one piece of evidence is never enough for anything. You need to have corroborating evidence. So if I have this pointing in a certain direction, I'm going to have another camera pointing at this camera, and maybe another camera pointing at that camera, to make sure that nothing was altered. It's called continuity. My investigating tactics or thought process is to try and collect enough evidence that I would be willing to go to court for and testify against. I just saw some comments here. I'd love to get to experience C5 with the weapon. Yes, Michael. So Michael says, I would love to get experience at CE5 with his weapon of mass destruction. So what he means by that is Rob Freeman has a $10,000 rig of cameras prepared for catching objects in the sky, and he's got his own security team for his cameras. It's absolutely phenomenal. So on top of that, so these cameras require infrared, same as your CCTV, your security cameras, right? And sometimes I can't see anything. So what I also picked up was this is called an LED illuminator. And what that does is this, I think this one has, I think it's got 52 LEDs on this. So anyways, what you do is you set this up. It's kind of like an extender. So you know when you get like a Wi-Fi signal and you want to repeat that signal somewhere else, so you get a repeater and then it resets your signal so you can spread your Wi-Fi. It's the same thing. This is going to spread the IR light, which will make it brighter, and the objects will come in too. So when you're in a really dark room, this will help the range. This is really bright. And light that we can't see. So that is a new toy that I'm going to work with. I'm going to have to do some trial runs. Maybe I'll make some videos about these equipment too. But what I am going to do and write in the book is explaining why I use these equipments, how they're intended to be used, and the evidence that get collected with it. And last but not least, the most important thing, cool toy that I got is going to be amazing, is this FLIR One camera for thermal camera for my cell phone. So I use an Android Galaxy S8, and what this is it attaches to your phone, and then your camera turns into a thermal camera. So this is intended and designed for home inspections. Okay, it is not intended to hunt ghosts. But the reason why I got the equipment for the original intent is because I don't want to purchase from say Ghost Stop or Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or whoever's selling this stuff and pay an extra $500 or something stupid because it's supposed to be a fad for ghost hunting. That's all it is it's a thermal camera, right? Thermal imaging. If there is a heat signature in the area, doesn't matter what kind of equipment you purchase. So just if I could give you a tip, when you're purchasing the equipment to investigate, buy the tool. Think about what it is you're trying to capture and what kind of tool is used for that, and get another tool that's designed to do that, right? You don't need to buy the Paranormal Puck, which is it's a neat device. It's got a 360 view and it has lights that go off. What you can do is you can buy a 360 CCTV camera, which is cheaper, probably $30, put it in the center of the room, run that to your computer, have that go off, and you want lights to go off, and then you put a sensor in there. You can save your money. If you want to spend a lot of money, you can spend a lot of money on equipment, but if you're going to spend a lot of money on equipment, make sure it's the right equipment, learn how to use it, learn why you can use it, and it's also credible. So this camera is FLIR, right? This is a reputable company who uses this for home inspections, right? To inspect your home so your home doesn't leak, so your home doesn't burn, right? Firefighters use FLIRs, right? This is a credible piece of device. So if I were to go to court and say, hey, I have thermal imaging camera evidence of an object or of an entity, right? And they happen to ask me, well, what kind of equipment did you use? Did you use a Ghost Stop one or did you use a FLIR one? I'm going to say I used a FLIR one. Why? Because it's designed for that stuff. We don't know if that's tampered or what. Not to talk poorly of all those things. It's just my opinion is you should get it directly from the source. And yeah. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. It's been 2 weeks. I'll be back next week. Michael says, heck yes, do some tests and show us. Yes, I will have to do that. And he also says, here's the next toy you should look into. HoffmanOptics.com. All right, let's take a look at that right now. What do we got? Michael says, did I spell that right? I'll tell you what, Mike. You loan me the money for that, and I will buy it. That is expensive, but you know what? Straight to the source, that would be best of the best. And I guarantee you that if I purchase that, I will probably be hung. So, yeah, that is expensive. But you know what? Actually, I use something like that in the Army, so that I would love to get my hands on that. I know exactly what we're looking at here too. And you know what? you can get a good camera with infrared too. Like, I mean, I have a full spectrum camera, which is pretty good. You don't really need to spend that kind of money on that. However, that is really damn good night vision. Yeah, but outside of my budget, volunteer, bro. Yeah, actually, you know what? This is perfect timing. Perfect timing, because I'm going to close this off. And I'm going to highlight this here. So if you go to GoFundMe.com and you can click donate now, and you can help me purchase one of those badass night vision goggles. But no, seriously, if you like what you're doing, you want to donate to the cause. This is for creating a paranormal database, high strangeness awareness. We do know that MUFON has a reporting system for UFOs. However, I want to create a database that records and archives paranormal encounters as well. I've started collecting cases from my own, not my own, but from people who have reported to me already. So this HSPD stands for High Strangeness Paranormal Database. So I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus the 2 I talked to you about tonight. So I'm at 9. So hopefully we get this database working. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Keep your eyes in the sky and heed the world. We'll see you next week. All right, bye now.